I went about that the terrible way. They always say you should toast the foot first, but I didn't. I just went for it. We'll see how good she goes. Romeo y Julieta. This is Cuban. It is a little second last one that I have. I'm almost done these. I got them about Christmas last year. I've been gradually going through them. They were a gift. That felt a little more comfortable. I don't really have a topic picked out. I just wanted to shoot a video, give an update, whatever you want to call it. Somewhere around Christmas, I went out and I got myself a little V cutter that works as a keychain. So actually my motivation for this Romeo y Julieta today is that these cigars, whether I buy them from the tobacconist or they come directly from Cuba as these ones did, I find Romeo y Julieta for your Cuban cigars fairly inconsistent, and they often have a really stiff draw. I'm learning, I think, that a V-cut helps with a tight draw. So I thought, let's go for it. I started doing the V-cut thing just on a whim. I was at my tobacconist, and I was just happened to mention in passing that I was one of the cigars I was gonna take home, like smoke on the way home, and the guy was like, "Oh, do you want me to cut it for you?" And I was like, "Cool." And then he asked what way he wanted it cut, and I said, "Well, let's try a V-cut." Now, admittedly, I'm not very good at it. It's kind of a crooked V-cut, a little deeper on one side than the other, but it actually legitimately changed the way I taste a cigar. Now, the cigar that he V-cut for me is one I've had dozens of times. It's there, dozens of times, that's for sure. It's a proprietary blend, and it's their blend is called Pueblo, and it's the green label one. So I'd had a bunch of them, so I was very familiar with the profile. And with the V-cut, I noticed things were a little more, it was easier to pick out the flavor notes. So maybe it's psychosomatic, maybe it's all in my head, but then I started going to V-cut. It's nice because this one can be a keychain. It's not overly expensive, it's cheap, and I just throw it wherever and forget about it. I didn't really think the way you cut a cigar would change how you taste it, but I guess, I don't know. Again, it could be psychosomatic. It definitely changes the smoking experience, right? Like, because you have sort of a narrow gash that you're inhaling from, it seems to concentrate the smoke a little bit more. I don't know if that makes any sense. But these Romeo y Julietas, these guys here are around $30 each, Canadian. These were a gift directly from Cuba, so they cost me not anything. But, the friend who gifted them to me, he paid substantially less than that per cigar. No, they are not counterfeit. He bought them at the proper stores. Cuban cigars, they have something in them that it's its own little flavor that I've noticed. I don't know what it is. It's like it's kind of like a weird maltiness, I would say, in the middle of the palate. It's always like sharper and more bitter on the side of the tongue for me. And then in the middle, it's like, I don't know, it makes me think of like carrot cake if it didn't have the spices in it, if that makes sense. Something like that. But, Cuban tobacco was really expensive, and there's a whole bunch of things going on with the Cuban market, and I live in Canada, so we get to eat dirt on the tobacco tax, unless, of course, you buy from the First Nations communities, then you often don't have to pay any tax because they don't pay tax on it, or at least you get a lower price. So there's that. So you get to support the Aboriginal community, and save a little bit of money on your cigars. It's a win-win for everyone, I think, right there. Yeah, you can hear there's some noise going on out there. We are into February, and this is where the dog days of winter happen in this area. So we're looking at the next probably 6 weeks of minus 20, and then with the wind chill like minus 35. Like, you will get frostbite in a very short period of time, something like 7 minutes. And on top of it, we're still getting between 1 and 6 inches of snow every day. I should have actually taken some pictures and included them in this video, but there's a Pioneer gas station out of town, and you know how high the signs are up? They're like maybe 20-25 feet in the air. The bottom of the actual sign is starting to be covered in snow because their snow mound is so big there. It's insane. Just down the road there's a house, and they have literally a mountain of snow, and it's taller than the peak of their home. It's crazy. On my balcony I have 3 or 4 feet of snow. This is the most intense winter I've seen for snowfall, for extreme up and down in temperatures, and like the crazy cold. But also we've had some amazingly beautiful winter mornings where you get what's called a hoarfrost, and so the frost is little sharp daggers of ice on all the trees and everything. Like all the trees have this. It looks like you're looking at everything through a fog because there's a white layer of ice on all the little branches and trees. I do have an image, but it's taken from a distance of that I'll just pop into here. Yeah, that is winter in this part of Canada. I know other places get it a lot worse than we do, but in the town I live in, we are literally running out of space for the snow. A lot of what were 2-lane side streets have gone down to almost 1 lane because the snow mounds are rolling over into the streets. I've lived in this area, the snow belt of Ontario, for 10 years now, maybe even it might be on my 11th, something like that. And maybe it's only 9. Either way, it has been a very, very intense winter. Probably the craziest winter that I can remember. Yeah, I find that little multi thing that's in all Cuban cigars. I mean, you get it in everything from the cheap Guantanameras and the Quinteros all the way up to Cohiba. It's just more or less of it. It seems the more expensive the tobacco is, the more complex and the more balanced it is. So the sharp, bitter stuff seems to be pulled back a bit, and then that multi-center seems to, glow a little more. Yeah. And it's days like today that make that mid-afternoon cup of coffee or that nice warm cigar a little bit more enjoyable. Speaking of which, I think I'm going to cut this here. I'm going to go make myself a cup of coffee, finish my cigar, and watch the sun sparkle in the snow because I haven't seen the sun for a few days. So it's always good to keep it a hobby, not a habit. If you have a glass, raise it to winning, even when you're losing. And one of my new favorite things to say, I've been saying it at work and I've been saying it to my family. We can't all be Captain America, but we certainly can be Steve Rogers. Cheers.